Thanks for staying tuned. It's now time to turn our attention to a topical issue that concerns you and I as Nigerians. And ahead of the 2023 polls, the campaign season for the presidential elections are here, and Nigerians are looking forward to, casting their votes for a change when it comes to the direction of the nation over the next 4 years. Now, we're looking at party politics today, talking about the internal lingering crisis of various parties from the APC to the PDP, the Labour Party, among others. To discuss this and more with us, we have a public affairs analyst with us. Gani Kayode Balogun, popularly known as GKB, is here with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, moderator.
It's good to have you here.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much.
Nice setup you have.
Thank you very much. The 2023 elections, presidential especially, that's what is probably generating more controversies, more attention, for Nigerians at this time. Looking at the various parties, let's take the three major parties in the play, APC, PDP, and Labour Party. Let me start with the basic. How well do you think they're prepared for the polls?
Well, two things you must understand. One of them is that this election will be like no other. Okay. Because of the BVAS that is coming into play, where you cannot now use thugs or external factors to win elections. But anything that is technology can also be manipulated one way or the other. So we expect to see some changes, but not that drastic. That will mean that the voice of the people will be heard beyond the ordinary. What we have now is basically the politics of identity. Okay. We are here to move to the politics of issues. Okay. That will come later when things are done. Don't forget, all politics are local.
Yes. Talking about all politics are local and, the politics of identity at this point in time, there seems to be a new wave in terms of, political participation among the youths. You think we would have record numbers at the polls and that could, bring about some sort of change in the direction of the nation?
Yes, you already have record numbers of voters,
yes,
as the case may be. At 90 million, that is more than the population of some countries.
Exactly.
That means that 90 million Nigerians are above the age of 18. That to me is massive, no matter the way you want to look at it. But what will really surprise me is that despite all the enthusiasm, if you have less than 50% turnout
on the election day.
Because the last election was, I think, 35%, yes, thereabout. So it's one thing to get your PVCs. It's nothing to take the time to come out on that day and vote physically.
But do you think that will be an issue, bearing in mind that a lot of persons took it upon themselves to ensure that they get their PVCs? It feels like there is a consciousness among the young people especially about, taking back Nigeria and ensuring that the right things are done.
Nigeria has always been here. Nobody stole it. So what are you taking back?
Well, of course, we're talking about governance here. We want good governance.
Well, we've had governors who are 34. Yusuf Okalu was 32.
Yes.
There's one man in the north, Jigawa State, I think was 31. I can name people who are very young. Yaya Bello is under 40. So what are you taking back?
No, I'm not talking about young people becoming president. I am talking about a lot of young people, a lot of youths are
I know exactly what you're talking about. The enthusiasm is fantastic, of course. But like Yorubas will say, there's something we call Iberekolonisha. There is not the person who starts well.
But who
that you should praise.
Okay.
Is the one that persevere till the very end.
And you think this enthusiasm wouldn't take them to the end?
Well, we've been in this game a long time. And I know that 25 hours is a long time in politics. Play this scenario for me. Imagine ASU strike was called off tomorrow. The Naira went back to 200 Naira to $1.
Okay.
The electricity that we're enjoying now improves to about 18 hours a day. Do you think the level of anger people are feeling today will be the same level of anger they will feel on election day?
Well, that's dependent on...
I'll just give you a variable. I'll give you a scenario now.
Okay.
So the key here, like I said when we started, is the fact that my prayer is that we have a turnout of about 70%, 80%. Then I will agree with you. Because if the people are coming out about 45 million, 30 million, whatever they decide will still be what we have to live with in the next 4 years.
4 years, okay. Just before we now delve into the various parties, let's look at the Electoral Act 2022, the one signed by the President. how much of an impact do you think it will have in terms of, you know, pushing us further to that, you know, stronger electoral institution of credible polls and the people's will being, you know, the voice here?
That's what I said. I said there are many things that are embedded in this particular electoral act that will ensure that for most parts there will be free and fair elections. And don't forget that we still have the results from the polls, from the wards, or from the polling booth, transmitted electronically everywhere in the world. So you can now monitor and trace your votes and become part of the whole. That to me is the key why this election is different. But apart from that, don't forget that you don't have to be there physically for them to make changes. They can meet you along the road and give you money. Things can be done before you get there. Other variables will come in, ethnicity will come in, religion will come in. Even within religion, sect will come in. So a lot of variables will come in that is not only the card you hold.
Talking about the variable, vote buying, how well do you think INEC can expunge that from the system? That those who are definitely against it, it's against, you know, the rules and all of that. But we saw Ekiti and Osun, for example, prime, you know, examples, and Anambra as well, over the last 6 months or thereabouts, these elections, and there are massive cases of vote buying. How well do you think INEC can address this problem ahead of the 2023 polls?
It's not their job. It's the job of the security agencies, really.
Okay.
The laws have given them powers to cancel areas where they are overvoting.
Okay.
Laws have given them power to cancel where there are riots or interruptions in the voting process. All these, of course, have been taken care of by the law. But the enforcement of the law is not the problem of INEC. It's the problem of the police or the security agencies to ensure. Besides, you are looking at the physical aspect of vote buying. People assume that vote buying is about money. Sometimes it's not. It may be the ethnic makeup of the candidates, maybe the religious makeup of the candidates. It may just be what I feel that morning when I wake up, and the side of the bed I woke up on. So a lot of variables will come in when. So when people say people are buying votes, I laugh, because you are already enforcing what's already on their minds, because they know they will not see you again for 4 years. So it's better to get your payment up front and ignore whatever will happen in the next 4 years. So you don't blame them because the poverty level is so high.
Yes.
And so you cannot, your boss will say, you are waiting for your kinsmen to cook food, but it's only your enemy that is cooking. So you have to eat the one that is available. So most of the time people want to do the right thing, but poverty will not allow them, because they need money at that point in time.
But how do we get out of this mode?
Empower the people.
Okay.
How many people have you seen resign in Nigeria public space in the last 62 years? People don't do, because it's your family that will tell you, what's your problem? Where are you going? What fantasy do you think you are trying to play here? Because the Nigerian system recognizes the fact that you can be incompetent as long as you represent a certain demography within the system. So when people say vote by, I said, do you understand the dynamics of people? A lot of people are registered because their kinsman is on this ballot. A lot of people will not come out because their kinsmen are likely not to win. A lot of people are coming out because their kinsman or the person is from their church or from their mosque, or they will go to their own denomination. So many variables determine where people vote. But
don't you think it's important to strip individuals of some of these leanings to ensure that patriotism is what takes the center stage?
Really? What is patriotism? Politics is a game of interests. And if you think that you cannot protect my interest and you can, even if you are going to get only my vote, I'll give it to you. Because in my mind, you are the only one that looks like me or talks like me.
What about the interest of all? What about economy? What about education? What about power? What about all these things? Aren't we looking at there are problems that are to be solved, and we need people who have the capacity. We need people who have the willpower to solve these problems. Isn't that what the focus should be?
All over the world. Do you know why Trump won? Trump won because the white male in America felt threatened. Yes. That they are becoming a minority. It's not about, what did you call it now? Capacity. It's because we are animals and our emotions rule us. That's who we are. You cannot pretend we are not. Okay. And variables will come in that you cannot control. Fine, patriotism is fantastic, but does it pay me? How do you want somebody in the Greeks to be patriotic when he has no water? Because the oil has spoiled his fishing pond. How do you want him to feel patriotic? How do you want the Fulani man that they steal his cow every day and nothing happens? How do you want him to feel patriotic? How do you want the Yoruba man who feel choked in his own land by people who buy land because they have access to drug peddling or to criminality? How do you want him to feel patriotic? You must first create a level playing field that you know you can be the best you can be before you come to that point. Patriotism is not a subtle blackmail. You can't force me to be patriotic. I've been all over the world. I'm very proud of my country. But once I step into MMA, I become a Yoruba man. It's just who I am, and I'm an educated person. The moment I step out of Nigeria, I become a Nigerian. But the moment I step back, I become the Osare Nokaka of Yoruba land. I become a Yoruba man. And my values and my system reflects that. That's the way we are.
Okay, let's talk party politics now.
Yeah.
The major players, in this game, heading to the polls less than 4 months or 4 months thereabouts. Yeah, they have serious issues to address, serious crisis lingering. Let's start with the PDP, because that's been in the news for the past few months, and it looks like it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Just yesterday, you had 5 governors in Enugu seemingly plotting the next move on how to also, air their grievances further. What exactly do you think, in your own perspective, is the major issue, the premise of PDP's internal crisis?
The first one, of course, is the fact that PDP ought to produce a candidate from the South.
Okay.
That's the reason for all these
issues.
Because if they had done that, this problem will not exist.
Okay.
So you cannot beat a child and tell him not to cry.
Okay.
People are frustrated because certain parts of this country has invested in that party for the last 22 years. And this is the payback time. And they were robbed of it. It doesn't matter whether they're robbed by their own brothers. That's irrelevant. That they feel cheated means that they would rather bring the house down than to let it go. And you have to agree with them.
Okay.
Because you assume that right now, PDP, the way it is constructed, the way it is done, by now should have a presidential candidate of southeastern or southern extraction.
Okay.
But they don't have that. So the crisis will continue because the deed has been done. And it's like somebody having an affair with the wife of his son. There's no way to spin it.
Okay.
What is bad is bad.
What if IU leaves? Do you think that will probably mend
IU is the first step because they do not trust each other. Okay. It's a matter of trust. There's nothing that Atiku will say now that will change the fact that a Fulani man is trying to take power from another Fulani man. That's the undercurrent. You have to understand the dynamics. So all these are just the symptoms of the problem that we know exists. And they are going to go to the wire with this problem.
Okay. Talking about going to the wire, if IU leaves, and that is the first step.
There will be another thing that
there will be another thing that will be asked for. You don't think the candidates can change at this point? I mean, that won't happen. Talking about
I don't think that. But like Bode just said, how does a Yoruba man tell his people that he's voting for another Fulani man? I haven't voted for you, a Fulani man, in 2 consecutive elections. What do you sell to the people in Southwest? What do you tell people in the Southeast who have invested in the PDP in the last 22 years? What do you tell them? What do you go home to tell your people? Don't worry. It's not a
But how did the party even put itself in this predicament?
They did, because of the ambition of 1 or 2 people.
And don't you think this partisan politics being, practiced, along the lines of religion and ethnicity will further polarize that party? Because that's
it's already polarized.
That's why I said further polarized, because that's what divides us even as Nigerians, not just talking about the party itself.
If I were to be Atiku, one of his advisors, I would just take the plunge and move on. It's not going to win them back anyway. They are gone. So no matter what you concede to them, they will ask for more. IU must go, of course. I agree with that, because IU is an anomaly within the context of the PDP. At a point, the chairman of the BOT was a northerner.
Yes.
And he was a northerner.
national chairman.
Everybody came from the same zone. Even for optics, it's bad. It's bad optics. Even if it's going to be a paper tiger, it doesn't matter. There must be a sense that I belong to this party. Okay. That this party is also about me. Why do you think Americans put black men in movies or Indians? It's because I'm looking at somebody who looks like me. Doesn't mean he may be a terrible actor. I don't care. But he looks like me. Same thing in politics. The man talks like me.
So let's look at the solution now. The solutions, not just solution, because it's more than one. IU leaves, yes. What else can be done to at least try and unify the party?
They will make concessions. They will make promises. But the problem with promises is that there's no way you will know whether they will be kept.
Would I include
if somebody promised you Senate president and you don't have, look at what happened to APC in 2015. An office was zoned to a particular place and they had nobody from that place. So what do you do? So if you now promise people from the Southwest will make you Senate president and something happened that they did not produce any Senate, what will happen? So those are what they call flying promises. They may be blown away by the wind.
The media was awash by, the one-time bid of a thing, as one of the compromises. You think that
is nobody, unless you are just born yesterday, nobody will believe that. Because power is sweet. The Nigerian president is the most powerful constitutional person in the world. He has powers that he's not even aware of. That's how powerful he is. So nobody will do that for 4 years and willingly step away. I'm yet to see the born of a woman that will be tasting that level of power and say, okay, I don't want it anymore. And, only Obasanjo will know why he had to go.
At the time. So basically,
he himself tried. He just doesn't succeed.
So basically, you're saying the PDP, there are no solutions in sight for them to get
the solution is what I've told you. Just let Atiku go his way and plug on. Because the more you try to bend over backwards, the more they realize they are hurting your chances.
Okay.
Just move forward. If they want to come about, fine. If they're not.
Okay. Before we leave the PDP to other parties, the final question will be, with the way the Northern Bloc and the Southern Bloc within the PDP are now, especially with the stance of the 5 governors and what have you, do you see the PDP, if Atiku decides to, move on without the Southern Bloc, do you think they even stand a relative chance of probably 35–40%?
If the election were to hold tomorrow, yes. But like you said, we have 4 months. Anything could happen.
Okay. Let's turn our attention to the
APC,
All Progressive Congress now. I mean, that's the ruling party.
Yeah, that's the party to beat.
Yes, because, they're the ruling party as well. Let's look at the first controversy, the Muslim ticket of it in Simfit. Simfit ticket.
There's nothing like Muslim.
Okay, Simfit ticket. What's your take on that?
In politics, you have to win.
Okay.
And you have to put a coalition that can win. It's not rocket science now. Because the way Nigeria is configured, the South is basically about 60% Christian.
Okay.
The Southwest is about 35% Christian. So the Yoruba Muslim, just like the Northern Christian, will have problems, whether you like it or not, when they are looking for a running mate.
Okay. Because
a Southern Muslim will have to pick a minority from the north.
From the north, yeah.
Just like a Southern Christian will have to pick a minority. Like a Southern Muslim will have to pick a minority Christian.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work. And for the 2 times we've tried it, they have to go with the same faith ticket. Because this may sound controversial to non-Yoruba people.
Yes.
But you are not born into a religion. Your religion does not define you. A Muslim can become Christian tomorrow. I'm a Yoruba man. Yeah. So it's common here. In some places, they will kill you if your son should go to the other religion. But I'm talking as a Yoruba man here, so people have to excuse me. You are not defined by your religion. You are defined by your tribe. Even your tribe that you are defined by is because your father and mother say so. Your grandmother may be bigger for I know, but you are brought up as a Yoruba man. We know in history people who are called Northerners, whose parents came from Edo,
yes,
or something. I know a brother very big in Sokoto who's from Ogomosho, and he told you himself. So your identity does not really change who you are going to become. But having said that,
Okay.
based on our current reality,
Okay.
it's going to be tough, but it's winnable. I don't think that's the problem. The problem basically is that a lot of people in the north thought they were in line to become the running mate to Asiwaju if he won the primaries. And they were disappointed that he went with a Muslim.
But
Okay.
you know, it's not just about the North. We are also looking at the nation in general. There are other people, a lot of Nigerians felt it was contemptible. It was a decision that probably didn't even consider the peculiarity of the country, that didn't consider a lot of diversities and all.
The man wants to win.
And you think that's the only person that
Well,
can
unless you are in
help
politics,
him win?
you are in politics to do Red Cross or do ambulance service, then you are there to win. We are just talking about Atiku now,
Yes.
who is now trying very hard to bring back a bloc
Okay.
within the country because he wants to win. Nobody goes into politics because they have good intentions. They go there to win because we cannot make changes in the system unless you're in office. And if Mr. Tinubu thinks that the only way for him to win is to bring a fellow Muslim into the tickets, good luck to him. I keep telling people there are 20 parties, there are 20 presidential candidates. In my neighborhood in Indiana, there's a party called Green Party.
Yes.
They get less than 50 votes every year.
Every year.
But they keep voting for the Green Party. That's what they believe in. They know they will not win. So if you are against Mr. Tinubu's tickets, then go for a ticket that I think will protect your interest. Because the way people talk is like Mr. Tinubu has already won. And they are just waiting for him to be sworn in. But you have options. But everybody is fixated on the APC tickets, which I thought was funny. And we keep pretending we are Democrats.
Okay, before we leave this issue of SIM-free tickets, the question will be, how did we even get here in terms of, you know, the so-called fair representation and the need to balance, you know, the interest of other regions of minorities? I'm asking because in 1979, the Unity Party of Nigeria, the candidate at the time, Obafemi Awolowo, you know, picked Sir Philip Umadi, you know, also from the southern extraction, just like him, also a Christian. So the question will be, at the time, I know times have changed, but at the time, if, you know, that wasn't a big deal and that ticket came so close to winning until, I mean, the Supreme Court's 12-3 ruling and all of that, why is that an issue now?
Well, we are more conscious of our differences than before. And it's not now. It started in 1947.
Yes.
When Nigerian youth movement had an election.
Yes.
And Chief Awolowo, of course, supported a man called Ernest
Koli, yes, at the time.
And Zik supported a Yoruba man. And it became a Yoruba war. In fact, it got so bad that people were buying cutlasses in Lagos. Not Lagos State, Lagos.
Yes, Lagos at the time, yes, the colony.
Basically to kill each other. So it didn't start yesterday.
Yes.
It's been on a long time. Don't also forget that the reason why the North decided to move to the capital of Lagos was because every time they were leaving Lagos, they were booed
yeah.
on their way back to Kaduna. And they said, we cannot live here. So the first opportunity they got, they moved the capital out of Lagos. So it's not new. It doesn't start now. When people tell me, we've never been this bad, I say, no, this is not even bad. This is like somebody in primary school. We've been to university and back when it comes to ethnic and religious brinksmanship
Conflict, yeah.
that we face in our country. But what's basically what causes the Buhari system of perception that he favors one part of the country, or that some people are felt left out within the confines of power sharing. But that's a matter of choice. If you pick a party that loses, you live with your choice. Nobody is forcing you to join a coalition. You join it because your interests are protected. When in 2011, the people who fought more for Jonathan were approved from the Southwest, that he must become president, that Yar'Adua was incapacitated. But the moment he became president, he handed over his government to the Southeast. But the Yorubas felt left out, but they didn't fight. They didn't cause anybody. They went back home, strategized, and do a coalition with Buhari. And they've been in power for 8 years. So when people tell you about politics as if it is Father Christmas, it's not. It's about interest. If you are not going to serve my interest, I'm not going to work for you.
Okay, I think we should turn our attention to the flag bearer of the All Progressives Congress. There have been questions in the media. There have been questions all over about his health, and also the fact that he hasn't been granted interviews, and Shettima has been the one who's been out there, the peace accord and some other interviews and some other platforms.
Is there a law that says he must give interviews?
A law may not say that he must give interviews, but at least he's the one who is seeking the vote of Nigerians. And Nigerians want to be sure that whoever it is they want to vote, you know, is healthy enough.
Yes.
I don't know how to tell you this without sounding condescending and patronizing. I'm trying to look for words that will not offend our viewers. It doesn't have to. Buhari never attended interviews. He won twice. The way Nigeria is configured is that you look at your base, then you reach out to other bases, and then you have a coalition that can win, you are the president. All these imported ideas that you have to attend the seminars, or they call it.
It may not necessarily be seminars, it's just that Nigerians want to see him.
Nigerians in the cities, Nigerians with access to data, because of Nigerians and the villages, they made up their mind who to vote for. Nigerian cities do not reflect Nigeria. It reflects us because we are part of the elite. So we are using our own mindset to use the word loosely. Nigerians. The man in Kutuweji doesn't care. The man in my mother's village in Tede has made up his mind. Doesn't care whether he gives something.
Sorry to butt in. And you don't think that socio-political reality of ours would change based on time, and probably the change
ultimately there will be the S factor. Somebody will come in that will change the trend,
yes,
and make it work.
You don't think the trend is changing?
Not in the election, no.
Why?
Because with all the four candidates that are top candidates, we've seen them before. Okay. We know what they can do. They've been governors, they've been vice presidents. There's nobody new. It's not a Mogalu or a Drotoye or a Kaya de Balogun that you don't know, that you need to listen to make a choice. You know who they are, you know what they are capable of. So when people tell me, you have to tell us what he's doing, the man has been around for 22 years. He was a senator in 92. He was a governor 22 years ago. What is going to tell you that you don't know already? Just Google Bola Ahmed Tinubu or Peter Obi or Atiku Abubakar, and a whole lot of information about who they are, what they've said, will come up. I think we get carried away with this Americanization, romanticization of our politics. There's no law that says the man must do this. Well, the only thing the law says, put your name down, pay for the form, win your primaries, let us put there. And on that day, because he doesn't talk, doesn't give interview, you don't want to vote for him, don't vote for him.
Okay, but as I said, there's a new consciousness, you know, especially among the youths in Nigeria, that demands that, you know, they want a different direction in terms of policies. They want to hear the aspirants for the office speak to them on what are the policies to bring about change in various sectors. If the flag bearer of the APC is not, you know, coming out to probably speak to them, you know, not necessarily reel out manifestos as we've had, you know, in time past, but speak to them about policies and address the concerns of the people, how then can they, you know, be in tune with his policies and what he's capable of doing?
They should not vote for him. It's a democracy. Doesn't matter. See, the problem we have as a nation is that we watch TV, we are dazzled by the Boris Johnsons, dazzled by the Obamas, and what if our country? Fine. But that's not who we are.
But change is constant.
Because the change you are looking for is the first step has just begun. That is young people getting out to get their vote, to get their PVCs. The next step is to force people to recognize the fact that they are a major force. All this takes time. It's not overnight. A lot of people will resist change. It's human nature. They will know they've been doing this a particular way. They want to do it that way. It's when they fail that they now adapt to new realities. It's not for you to force your own something on them. You force it on them by voting against them. So that let your voice be heard. Not by sitting in front of the TV set or sitting in front with your phone and lamenting. On that day, wake up at 5 o'clock, be the first on the line to vote. Then guide your votes.
Okay, still talking about the APC.
That's the way to do it.
The campaign council hasn't been inaugurated. It's been postponed twice, and you know that concerns. What's the reason for that? I don't know if you have an inside info first. Do you have a reason for that?
Well, the candidate is not around.
Okay.
There are a lot of people felt left out.
Okay.
Of course, like I said with the article, you can't satisfy everybody. It's not possible.
Okay.
Or else you become weak and indecisive.
Yes.
But don't you think this is an all-important time and the candidates should be around?
Again, we know where the candidate is. He's alive. He was riding a bike yesterday.
That those who claim that video is old?
That's an old video.
That's yesterday.
Okay.
Or that's 2 days ago.
Okay.
I can verify that for you.
Okay.
The point here is this. Let's put ourselves in certain people's positions. The man has been running around since the beginning of the year. First for primaries, and it was a very tough primaries, you know.
Yes.
And he's been running around since the primaries.
Although he won with a landslide.
What he's doing is building coalitions, moving to areas where we need help, talking to leaders. And he thought that at this point in time, he has done enough.
Next the rest
As far as, because what he was looking for is to beat the deadline and make sure he's still a candidate. Now he thought, I have structures in place. I can rest.
Okay.
The election will start in a month, so why not? It's not going to get serious anyway till around November. So let's the opportunity to check on certain things.
Okay. The final question.
So the point here is, I'm sorry to cut you.
That's fine.
You don't have to vote for the man. That's the point I keep making to everybody who keep lamenting about what Tinubu is doing or not doing. You have the votes. I don't get it when people get honestly excited about he's not around, he's not talking to us, he's not telling us this. A lot of people are saying that have already made up their mind the person they wanted to vote for. They're just doing that to grandstand. Don't vote for the man if you think he's not the one you want to vote for. It's not compulsory. That's why they call it democracy. You will have your say. Majority will have their way.
Exactly.
I'm tired of Nigerians getting agitated when you have 20 choices. 20. Not 2, not 4. 20. Pick one. I'll just give examples. The mayor of Indianapolis during the last winter of 3 years ago was the worst winter in the history of the United States. The man, my elder man, equivalent of my councillor, he's a barber. His day job is barbing. Yet he leads the county because we chose him to be our leader. We chose him over a lawyer. We chose him over a banker. You have the choice. You don't say because that banker does not have time to come to me and tell me, GKB, you vote for me. That I use whatever you have to get what I want. Nigerians should know they have the power.
Okay.
It's not about Tinubu, it's not about Atiku, it's not about Obi, it's not about Kwankwaso. It's about you. Take your power, use it the best way you can. Do you know that the polls during the Trump election was that Clinton will win by landslide?
Yes.
But people will tell you what they want you to know. Say, do you vote for Clinton? You say yes. But in your mind, you better have mind, I'm voting for Trump. Same thing applies here. Okay,
let's wrap up the APC discussion before we move to Labour Party now with the question. There's still the northern blocks, especially the minority, the northern Christians within the APC, who are still not comfortable from Lawal to Dogara, with not just the same faith ticket, but the structure of the campaign council. Quickly, how do you think that will be rectified within the APC? So
well, the rumor is that it's going to become a 2,000-man strong something. Yes. A lot of them will have nothing to do. They just want their name.
Names there. Okay.
The people who are going to run this campaign are not more than 100. Okay. I've been part of a campaign before, so I know. Okay. They'll put your name, but when the real decisions are taken, you will not be in the vicinity.
Okay.
So that's the way it works. Well, the Yorubas will say, want us to expand it, let's expand it. Let's make it 2,000. Let's make it 10,000. We'll even give you a letter to show that you're a member of the council. But the president is the chairman. Lalong is the DG. Yes. The candidate is there. The party chairman is there. The party secretary is there. Those who are important will be Faleke, Omishore, Adamu, Lalong, the president, the candidates. About 10 people tops. So you understand? So again, our young people should read. Don't get carried away by because Mr. A said so. Okay. You must also talk the same thing. Nigeria is not going to die because Tinubu wants to be president. Nigeria is not going to die because Atiku did not pick. No, Nigeria will continue to move. Okay. What I'm happy about this election is what I told you. A lot of young people, majority of our young people have their PVCs. Make it speak. Okay. That's my key. Don't worry about somebody in London. No, it's not your problem. Decide on your mind. I'm going to vote for
Maybe Samson?
So worry.
Okay.
I was like, waiting for Showore.
Okay.
I don't care. People voted for Ganifa because they know it was not going to win. But that was their conscience.
Okay.
And what the person I wanted to vote for is Ganifa. I know it's not going to win, but I'm going to vote for him. I'm happy I voted for him. That's what people will tell you.
Okay.
All this grandstanding is just wasting time. We have serious issues. And we need serious people to solve them. And all these, people are not, even yourselves, nobody is asking about their manifesto, what they're going to do about power. They're asking, why is he not here? They're asking, why is Wike angry? We are still looking at the superficials. We are not interrogating the main problem Nigeria has. Nigeria has 200 million people, about 180 of them are living under poverty line. Yeah. What are we going to do about it? What are we doing about local government administration, the closest to the people? What are we doing about states that refuse to pay? And yet we concentrate on the center that's not going to make any difference. If it's not Buhari that's going to take care of our garbage.
Yes.
It's not Buhari that's going to take care of our streets. Those are local government jobs.
Yeah.
The TV license that you pay is in order to protect you in the area. We are not interrogating those. We worry about a man's health. We worry about another man's ethnicity. We are worrying about same-faith ticket. Things that has no bearing with competence.
Okay.
And we say that the country don't work because we are not asking the right questions.
Okay, let's turn our attention now to the Labour Party. Moved the flag bearer for the party decamped from the PDP to Labour Party. For the Labour Party, two major points that people have raised. One, the party doesn't have structures because they do not have a state they govern now. Yeah. But there are also those who counter that accusation with the fact that the people are the structures, and we've seen them mobilize en masse at different states in Nigeria. The question will be this. What do you make of the Labour Party and how they've tried to, mobilize supporters for themselves without, in quotes, a structure?
I was in Nigeria during the NSAS movement. I don't see any difference.
Okay.
It's still the same. In fact, the structure and the way the modus operandi replaces or is a replica of the NSAS movement.
Okay.
And the same people, by the way. So one is not really surprised at this. And like when we started, you remember you said that Nigerians are angry. Nigerians are angry because they don't feel that this country is working.
Okay.
But the same Nigerians are also in other parties. And the same Nigerians, when they are induced or not, will still vote for the old candidates. So it's a good thing. Like I said, the more the merrier.
Yes.
Whoever is going to, my prayer is that whoever is going to do Nigeria better is the one that should win. Okay. But you can only get that if you go out and vote. Not by lamenting in front of your data or your phone. It's about going out on that day. Because don't forget, these old men, these old women, these market women, these civil servants, they are the structure. Governors are very powerful. And nobody in his right mind will put his job in jeopardy. You can call it blackmail, subtle or otherwise. But that's the reality of our reality.
Okay. We'll address the issue of structure that you've just talked about, especially within the context of the 2023 polls for the Labour Party, just after this short commercial break. Please to stay with us.
Most people don't understand the magic of a perfect skin, the allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemiville Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemiville family.
Mama, you're coming to Lagos. Banga. Baby, Mama just called me now. She's coming to see you. She asked me to tell you to make banga soup for her. And she's close to the house. Oh.
How do you expect me to prepare banga in just few minutes? I have a solution for you.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
She knows I be cook the banga. Not gonna enter my family.
Pali banga is used in making other exotic dishes such as banga jollof rice, banga efo riro, banga asaro or yam porridge, banga egusi, and many more. Pali banga is easy to open, no preservatives, no cholesterol, and no coloring. Approved by NAFDAC. Manufactured by Pali Agro Products Limited. Available in all leading stores and supermarkets nationwide.
Pali banga, natural palm fruit extracts for tasty African cuisine.
Thanks for staying with us. The discussion continues with Gani Kayode Balogun, GKB as is fondly known, and we're talking about the internal lingering crisis in the major political parties ahead of the 2023 polls. For those who missed out, well, we're talking about structure at this point in time, especially within the Labour Party. Just before the commercial break, you talked about, the issue of structure. Labour Party, as I said earlier, doesn't have a state it governs. And while we've seen massive mobilization of, people in support of their candidates, how well do you think that will bring about some sort of structures for them going into the polls? Well,
they will do their best.
Okay.
Because people are the structure. The Yoruba will say, "Eyan lasho mi." People will determine the kind of leadership they want. Labour Party, some of my friends will say, is just masquerading as a national movement. That's basically an ethnic
movement.
That may be true, that may be not. That's not my problem. My challenge basically is that going forward, what are they really bringing to the table? The same thing we're asking of other parties. But they've been in government, so we can look at the antecedents and come to a conclusion. But Labour has not been in government. The only Labour governor that ever existed was Mimiko. And Mimiko was more or less a PDP man. So we cannot really judge them based on any antecedents. So for that, they are unknown quantity. It doesn't take away the fact that Nigerians are angry.
Okay.
Especially young Nigerians. They're extremely angry with the system. They are totally disinterested in the status quo. But whether they will have the numbers to make that difference is what nobody can fathom right now.
Okay.
Nobody
but
can.
What do you think based on what we see?
I don't understand.
You said nobody can fathom that. So I'm asking, what do you think? Do you think that number can make that difference you're talking about? Again,
Lagos has 7 million voters. What we see is less than 10,000 people congregating. Don't get carried away because some of us deal with data. People get carried away with pictures, what they look at. Somebody said, okay, I'm looking at optics. This looks good, but does not really reflect reality. So 10,000 people, 20,000 people hit the road on one day. There are 7 million voters.
Well, we can also show all of these 7 million voters are also going to vote.
Precisely. We are not even sure half of them will have PVCs. So like I said, a lot of people are catching crews.
Well, you can't be so sure. They might really be very.
That's what I'm only reinforcing what you said. If half of them does not have, or they are too young to have, or you just see this as an avenue to have fun, you have to discountenance them. So let's say 7 million votes, let's say 4 million. Let's use figures now. Yeah. Let's say 4 million are under 18. Let's say they represent the 1830 demographic.
Yes.
And out of them, 4 million, some will be sick, some will be on duty, some are registered in schools far from where they are now. So that will bring us to 2 million. If I don't have 2 million, how many people are living outside certain catchment areas? Exactly. How many of them are in Ekpe, for example, or Ikorodu or Ibejuleki? How many people are in Alomosho, the biggest local government in Nigeria? Can they make a difference there down the line? That's what politicians look at. They don't look at crowds.
Yep.
They look at who will make a difference. Does this man have influence here? Will people do what he asks them to do? How many people can he bring to the table? Politicians are realists. They are not. They don't romanticize these things. They are serious businessmen.
All right. So if the Labour Party were to make an impact,
If they are to make
what
an
should they
impact,
start
where
doing now about
will they?
structure?
No. Again, like I said, the people are the structure. If you have people who are disenchanted with the system, have you driven them enough to say, I'm going to go out and make that difference? I just gave you the example of people who voted for Gani Faremi.
Yes.
They know deep down that he was not going to win. But they made a statement that this is the person I voted for. They can do that. They can be part of that movement going forward. It doesn't mean they will win, but it doesn't mean they will lose.
Okay.
They have 30 people going to the other posts. They have 2 or 3 gubernatorial elections. They have about 30 senatorial candidates out of 109. What difference do you think they can make down the line? Again, Nigerians have a way of adopting realities if it comes.
Okay.
When people say these people cannot win, I laugh. Nobody contesting cannot win. But do you have the numbers? 7 million voters in Lagos. Let's say 4 million voted. And then you get 1 million. Will that make any difference? How many House Assembly members will that get you? Most of them are situated in certain localities. Will that make a statewide impact? Will that state make a national-wide impact? You understand? So, after all the noise, all the gra-gra, you now come back to the brass tacks.
Okay.
That this is about data. This is about people, the number of boots you can put on the ground. And they don't have that today. They may have that in 2 months. They may have that close to the election.
Yes.
I cannot say, I'm not God. But as of today, if the election were to hold tomorrow, they will make a statement, but will not change the system.
Okay,
Making a statement
let's
is
talk
good
about
enough.
changing the system now. You know, we talk about political ideologies. Back in the 50s, down to the 60s, we had that in our political sphere. I mean, you had the action group with Obafemi Awolowo as the premier of the Western region, you know, free education. It tilted towards socialism. You had the NPC, Northern People's Congress, which was more of the capitalist. In recent times, we've not had ideologies in play. Now, I'm bringing this up because the Labour Party is a bit ironic. Now, the Labour Party should have its own ideology in terms of labor, but you look at its flag bearer who is, you know, out a capitalist. So the irony there that a capitalist is, you know, the flag bearer for the Labour Party. The question then will be this: how do you think that can bode well for, you know, the chances of the party, considering that we are not dwelling much on ideologies at this time? Then too, to change the status quo, how can we incorporate ideologies back into our, you know, political parties to ensure that we have a robust democracy?
The first point is this: Labour Party is a vehicle for Mr. Obi
Exactly.
to whatever he wants to do. So he will have gone to APGA or Zenith or Accord or Access, whatever other parties. It's Obi that is the person, not the party.
Yes.
The party is just a vehicle. You have to understand that. And Obi is the symbol of what his people call systemic oppression
Okay.
or systemic exclusion. And all the other fancy titles that they use. So you have to understand that dynamic.
Okay.
Once you do that, it has nothing to do with ideology. This man has been in APGA.
Yes.
He has been in PDP. He's now in Labour. So it's not about ideology. Ideology, even in the 50s, was a byproduct of ethnic championing,
Exactly.
of protecting ethnicity. Then after getting power, what do we do with it?
Okay, I think this is a good place to wrap up the conversation. Many thanks for coming on the show, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time. We've been speaking to Gani Kayode Balogun, fondly known as GKB, concerning the lingering crisis of major political parties ahead of the 2023 polls. It's time to go on a break now. When we return, we'll have more conversations for you. Please to stay with us.